This episode is brought to you today by Whitehall Mortgage, where there's a will, there's a Whitehall. Buying a home starts by getting a pre-approval, and nobody does it better than Doug in Dallas. Call them today at 570-562-7505 or apply online at whitehallmortgagefinancial.com. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Wychak. I'm the host of the Real Estate Right Now podcast, and I have an episode today for the realtors out there, something that I think you guys can use to help build your business. And, we're starting to get to the point where we're already looking at 2026, right? It's right around the corner. We start to look at these 2026 projections, and for a lot of realtors, they can get a little bit scary, all right? They're thinking that there's going to be a reduction of 300,000 realtors across the country, many people leaving the industry. One positive is that the existing home sales, they think they're going to rise fairly significantly, not to the post-pandemic level, but definitely higher than they were in 2024 and 2025. And you might see some small, modest home price growth in certain areas. And in some areas, you may even see prices starting to go down. Interest rates are still going to be in that 6% range, I think, for the foreseeable future here in 2026. So what does this mean for the market? All right. So realtors, this is what you have to keep in mind as you start to look for these clients. What it means for buyers is things are going to start improving. That's nice, right? Because buyers for the past few years really felt like they were getting beat up on. Sellers need to realize it's not 2021. And this is always interesting when markets start to shift, because back in 2012, every buyer knew they had the advantage. In 2021, every seller knew they had the advantage. In 2026, every seller thinks they have the advantage and every buyer thinks they have the advantage. Both are a little bit right, both are a little bit wrong. Whenever markets change like this, it creates an interesting situation. And look, for agents and lenders, I think some of this stagnation might start coming to an end here in 2026. So what is the key to success for realtors in 2026? Well, I think the first thing that you need to do, lean into buyer education, all right? I think it's a great time to start planning home buyer workshops, whether they be in person or online. Some of the content that you can start creating as we head into 2026. Here's what $300,000 buys in, your market, whatever it may be at today's rates. Show people what they can actually afford. And something that I think you really want to emphasize for buyers in 2026 is that the key to buying a house, home buying is a long-term play. All right. It's a long-term play. Focus on how buying houses creates wealth. It's, in many cases, for a lot of people, the biggest asset they have in their lives. Another thing that you need to do to have success in 2026, start getting your sellers ready now. Okay. Start teaching them and telling them that they want to maximize the value in their property. Prices aren't going through the roof like they were in previous years. We're not seeing 15 offers on every house. We're not seeing houses go for 20% over asking. Those days are gone. So one reoccurring theme I think that you should have in your marketing for sellers is don't leave money on the table in 2026. Start teaching sellers some of the things that they can do with staging, minor upgrades, repair advice, whatever it may be. Start telling sellers what they can do to maximize what they get out of their house in 2026. Because I'm telling you, when they start talking to their friends who are selling, they're going to start hearing horror stories about houses on the market for too long, multiple price reductions. Sellers are going to look to avoid that. Start positioning yourself as the expert to teach them how not to leave money on the table in 2026. That needs to be a recurring theme in your marketing. Double down on lead generation. I always say all problems in real estate are solved by lead generation. That will be no different in 2026. One great thing about 2026 as far as lead generation is concerned, a lot of times when we think about lead generation, we think about new business for good reason. That's what it means to generate leads, to find new business. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though, for 2026. You're going to have a real opportunity to reactivate old leads. All right. In the last 2 or 3 years, there have been many buyers who were priced out of the market, who were tired of making offers only to be outbid, who were tired of low inventory, having to buy houses that they didn't even like. Buyer remorse was real. So a lot of buyers left the market. I think in 2026, there's going to be a real opportunity for those guys, those buyers, to re-enter the market. So your lead generation shouldn't just be focused on new business. Let's go back and take a look at who we worked with in the past who didn't end up buying a house and try to make sure that 2026 is the year that they do buy a house. I think there's going to be some real opportunities there. And when we talk about buyers, another reoccurring theme that I think you have to have in your marketing is going to be homebuyer education, first-time homebuyer education. So what does that look like? 5 things every first-time homebuyer needs to know in 2026, all right? I think you have to have great partnerships now with local lenders who are going to help you set up first-time homebuyer programs. Market them aggressively. A lot of times home buyers end up working with the first realtor and the first lender that they talk to. So start marketing yourself to find those people first. I mean, look, that's not rocket science here, guys, right? I mean, that makes sense. Get to them first, provide value, and there's a great chance that they become your client. Leverage your lender partners to help in this process. And I think if you can do that, you're going to be really successful. Another thing that I think you want to do is have content consistency. Right now, you need to be more visible than ever. Realtors are going to be leaving the industry at a pretty high rate in 2026. So what does that mean? If you're able to weather the storm, if you're still here, if you've been a realtor for many years and you're a long-term realtor, you need to tell people, look, the reason I'm in this industry and the reason why your idiot brother-in-law is now putting his license in escrow is because I'm a pro. I've been here longer. I've gone through multiple markets and I've thrived in multiple markets. People are going to be looking for professionals. The thought that anybody could do it is gone. It's gone. So focus on being the go-to voice. What does that look like? Ideally, I'd like it to be daily video content. That's what we do here. But at the very least, weekly video content, market updates, myth busting, behind the scenes, without question, community-focused content. All of those things are things that I think will help you build your business in 2026. And that's what we're talking about doing here, guys. So I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year in our market. We're going to see people leave. We're going to see prices stabilize. We're going to see inventory improve. We're going to see rates drop. I think you're going to see, what's interesting, you're going to see people leaving, but I think you're going to see a lot of people entering this industry. And in the past, I know existing agents, sometimes we don't necessarily think about the new competition. You better start thinking about this group of new realtors that's coming through, though. I think people are going to look at this year as a year where they can come in and find success early and often, especially if they do the right things. So be prepared for 2026. Start planning now. I know we are months away, but if there's one thing we know about real estate is that time flies. So use this playbook that I kind of provided. Use some of the tools. I talked about recurring themes that you should have in your marketing. Put that into practice and watch the success follow. That's all for today. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for joining us for today's episode, everybody. If you want to hear more content, follow us at Real Estate Right Now Pod on YouTube. Once you're there, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to follow me directly, check me out. It's Dave Wychak at Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, all the socials that you're already using.